Hello. This is a message for parents. I just read this great article from a friend saying parents are not okay. How we are juggling just so much, and even though it's been 4 weeks now, what we thought would be a routine by this point still is not present, and in fact harder than ever in some contexts, in keeping work together and taking care of kids and just the whole myriad. But this isn't just for parents. This is for all of us. I reflected upon it and I was like, okay, yeah, I've been a single parent now for 4 years. It'll be 4 years in May. So with my family away in Europe and my ex-husband's family in Vermont. So I've been doing it alone a long time. So I was reflecting upon that and thought, okay, from a yogic perspective, let's share what I've been doing in order to sustain the juggle. So starting at bedtime. I've been going to bed, once I put the girls to bed, pretty much going to bed myself. Between 8:30 and 9:30, 10 o'clock. If I'm still up at 10:30 or 11 o'clock, I'm like, oh my God, this is too late. Way too late. I'm going to pay the price tomorrow. For me, that's like way too far. Also, because, do you know when you're really tired, you hit this wall at nighttime and you're like, whoa, I'm exhausted. And if you don't act upon going to bed in that window, do you notice you get a second wind? And then it's harder if you go to bed after that with that second wind still in your system and your psyche and in your body. You find yourself just lying in bed, even if your eyes are closed, but just lying in bed and not going straight to sleep. So that's my first tip, is go to bed when you get that wave of tired, when you get that wave of exhaustion where your body's like, we're ready for sleep, let's go. Try to stop what you're doing and honor it. Try not to push through it. Because when you push through it, it's going to be that much harder to go to sleep, and then you might not stay in bed and you might start thinking and ruminating and, enter into bed when the body gives you that clear signal of it is time for us to restore. And pay attention, because it can only be a 10-15 minute window. So once you become aware of it, start to dim the lights and, no more TV, no more radio. I mean, generally I would recommend no more screen time after 7 or 8 p.m. because we know it activates the frontal cortex of the brain and it relights the brain. So we want to, as much as possible, minimize it. What I've been doing, if there is work to be done and I feel that the anxiety rising of, but I have so much to do and I just feel suffocated by the list, it's that morning time. So I work on maintaining a consistent early to bed. I've had to do this being a single parent, otherwise, especially in the beginning, this was my trial and error of just being so exhausted. I mean, the girls were younger then. It was, they were 2 and 3, and we were selling a house and going through a divorce and, and all that healing that happened in these last 3-4 years. So it was really intense, but it was the learning of, I really need to honor to get to bed with the girls at the same time. And then in doing so, now and for the last year and a half, I've been getting up earlier, getting up around 5 to get up before whoever gets up first, normally the youngest, so that I have time for myself. And this is where I resumed my meditation practice. This is where I have time to at least get a list for the day and even get to send emails out before the day starts. If you find yourself waking up at 4 in the morning and you can't get to sleep, get up, do your work. There were a couple of times last year that, a little more than a couple maybe, but not that much, that I was up at 4 o'clock and getting work done. But it is more optimal to get to bed earlier and rise earlier than working late, because then we are tapping into our adrenals, we're tapping into our reserves, and we're burning the candle at both ends. It is scientifically documented with the circadian rhythms that we will get the best sleep if we sleep between 10 and 2. This is where we get to energetically and mentally, subconsciously file things away. This is our time to digest, process, download. So that is one of my most important rituals, is getting to bed early. If I feel I have the time, I take an Epsom salts bath and I just allow myself to relax and melt into it. I'm not drinking alcohol at all. And I recommend that too, is if you can, abstaining from the alcohol and those kind of vices. My vice is sugar, and I'm working my utmost to minimize my sugar intake. But yeah,